Hey everybody, are you aware that there's a government grant tax deduction that's available to commercial building owners in order to reduce the cost of putting in a brand new, more efficient system in your building? I'm Jacob Schmeichel, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about the 179D Building Energy Efficient Deduction. So the 179D deduction is a government grant program that's in order to reduce the cost of new energy efficient systems in commercial buildings as well as some government buildings. Keep in mind before we get too far into it that if you are the owner or the proprietor of a government building, you will have to go through separate steps through the government themselves in order to get approved for this grant. And I would love to talk to you more about that, so reach out to me with the information at the end of this video to talk about how we can get more efficient systems in your government building. But today we're going to be talking in depth about commercial buildings and what it looks like to meet the requirements for the 179D deduction in your building. So the first thing we're going to be talking a little more about is where does it come from. So the 179D deduction is from the Department of Renewable Energy, and it was written into law many years ago in order to incentivize new, more efficient systems in the commercial buildings to cut down on waste, to cut down on excess electricity we don't need, to cut down on carbon emissions, and many other benefits. This deduction, you can qualify for it by LEDs, solar, even HVAC, more efficient, and building envelope can qualify for this. But today we're going to be focusing on the lighting because that's the easiest path to receiving the tax break that comes along with the 179D lighting. So the most important thing with any tax deduction is to make very sure that you're qualified for it, because you hate to get to the end of the year expecting a big tax break and not get it. So here's how you do it. The first thing you need to keep in mind when trying to apply for the 179D deduction is you need to have a licensed contractor evaluate your building before and after. So before you put the new system in, likely you already have this write-up for what your building is spending as far as efficiency goes. As a business owner, you want to know where your money's going. So likely you know the existing. The important thing is, after you get your new lights in, you need the contractor who is licensed in your state to make an evaluation of the new system, what the output is, and all the various environmental factors that are around your light, because that's what's going to qualify you for the deduction. And the qualification for the full deduction, which is a different bracket for full and partial, is a 50% reduction from the past system. If this is a new building and you're building it out, it's from the average, which is very, very easy because most of the buildings in the United States have highly inefficient systems already. So to qualify on a brand new build out is very easy. Likely whoever's building it for you has already told you about this. But for older buildings, people that aren't working side by side with contractors day in and day out, you may not even know about this. And to put in a new system with a 50% reduction is very easy, because here's the rule of thumb for lighting. So if you're going to go from a fluorescent, which is what you likely have if you haven't updated your lights in about the last 5 to 10 years. Fluorescent to LED, 50%. Almost always. The rule of thumb, it's almost always there. You likely won't even need to worry about qualifying because this is the case. And if you can't get there from fluorescent to LED, look into solar, because sometimes you can get solar systems for free just because they qualify you for this grant. And if you're going from a halogen or an HID, which is if you haven't updated your lights in the past 15 to 20 years, you're probably looking at, check this out, halogen lights or HID. Rule of thumb here, 75% reduction from LED. That's already an ROI by itself, and you're going to qualify for this 179D grant. And here's what the 179D is worth if you qualify fully, which is worth doing. I'm going to show you why. So the 179D, for a fully funded 179D reduction, here it is, 179D, I'm going to put full right here so you can see, is $1.60 per square foot. Oops. Square foot for the affected area. So if you do the whole building and your entire building is affected, you're getting $1.60. The average size of a warehouse is 16,400 feet. So I'm going to put that number here, do a little math for you like I like to do. 16,400 feet. That's the average warehouse. If you replace the lighting system in your 16,000 foot warehouse, which is average, it's not as big as I thought it was when I first saw that number, you're going to be looking at, like I said, $1.80 per square foot. That's $29,000 I'll round it down there for easy number. $29,000 you get just for replacing the lighting system in your building with something more efficient. Many lighting systems are not even going to cost you this amount of money in a 16,000 square foot building. This this tax deduction can almost fund the price of the lighting themselves. And if you're going from an halogen or HID at a 75% reduction on the year, that's an energy savings that we can talk about more in previous and further videos about how this energy savings is going to work out over time. And then on top of that, you're going to receive $29,000 that you do not have to pay on your taxes that year, just because the government wants to incentivize more efficiency. It wants to incentivize renewable energy. They want to incentivize LEDs. The government loves their LEDs. They love their solar. They want to get more of these things in the buildings here in the United States in order to reduce carbon emissions, like I said, and do all of these things. So after you look at all that, you're going to be asking, how do I even file? It is very simple to file for the 179D. I'm going to write it right down here for you. How do I file? Question we always ask ourselves, is it complicated? Is it more trouble than it's worth? There's not much that's more trouble than it's worth for $29,000. But either way, how do I file? Right here. Other deductions. And your tax software. Or your tax guy can do this for you if you have a tax guy. It's right there. That's it. It's that simple. You go into the other deductions. You submit the report from your licensed contractor with the existing over to the new. And it goes under other deductions. And you qualify just like that. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. If you have not heard about this, this is something that's super easy to take advantage of. It's well worth your time. And this program does change from time to time. So we know that we have this program at least to the end of this year. The end of 2020, we have a guarantee. If you get a new lighting system in your building that has a 50% or a 16.5% reduction for the partial building, you will receive $1.60 per square foot on a fully reduced building. That's the facts. This comes off your taxes. Tax season is coming up. This is a fantastic time to do it because this money, it's going to come right back in your pocket here in March when taxes are due. So if you get this building put in December, you got that money coming back in just a couple months. That's going to pay for your lighting system, and then you can just enjoy the sweet ROI that comes from a 50 or 75% reduction in your lighting for a high efficiency system. And if you factor in solar, that goes much higher. And my team, it works with companies that are ready to take the next step into better lighting, more efficient lighting that's going to save money and qualify you for grants like the 179D commercial reduction. There are so many more grants. There are so many more programs involved with solar and utility rebates and all these things. I have seen it time and time again that companies will receive new lights, a brand new lighting system that's more efficient, that saves you money at no cost to the building owner whatsoever in 1 year. It's out there, and these reductions are only lasting till the end of the year. Take advantage. Click through the description in this video to schedule an appointment with my team so that we can show you what you need to do to take advantage of these incentives. Thank you. We'll see you next time.